Hi, my name is Amanda, and I am a 44-year-old mom of two little boys, not so little anymore, 13 and 9. And up until about 2 years ago, I was still carrying around my baby weight, if you know what I mean. I am about 5'1", and I was weighing in at around 240 to 250 pounds, just depending on the day. I was tired all the time. I didn't really have the energy to play with the kids. And I was so unhappy. And on my 40th birthday back in 2020, I was much thinner and I was feeling really good about myself. I had worked really hard with intermittent fasting and I'd lost probably 40 or 50 pounds. I was feeling good. I was working out pretty regularly and I was involved in my community and with a lot of friend groups. And then my husband got a new job 4 hours away in St. Louis. And so we packed up and we moved. And it was really hard. I was really depressed for a time and I let my eating just go back into a bunch of old ways and old habits. I have PCOS and insulin resistance because of that. And so even though I know that sugar and a lot of carbs my body does not handle them well. When I am sad and I stress eat, those are always my go-tos. And so I just kind of let myself go and I lost a lot of who I was, not just in the weight gain, but in depression and anxiety as well. And so I decided about 2 years ago that I wanted to get healthy. And I had several girlfriends who had started these skinny shots and they were losing weight and they looked great. And so I went to my doctor, hopeful and believing that I was going to be given this shot because my girlfriends had all gotten it and they weren't diabetic and they didn't have these scary numbers on their blood test results. But my doctor said, no, you don't need that. You're not unhealthy. Even though my BMI was close to 35 and my A1C was pretty high. He told me to go for more walks and eat a little bit less. And I left that meeting with him just feeling really sad. Number one, because as a woman, I know that when I go to the doctor, most of the things that I complain about being wrong with me are blamed on, oh, you're just overweight. Or, oh, you just need to go on more walks. You need to drink more water. And if it was that simple, I would have lost the weight and kept it off years ago. I wouldn't have waited until I was in my 40s. But it did spur me on because it made me mad. And so I thought, well, fine, I'm just going to do this on my own then, if you're not going to give me what I want. And so I worked really hard for about 18 months. I was intermittent fasting, which had worked for me in the past. So I assumed that it would this time. And it did, not in the same ways that it had when I was in my early 40s or when I had just turned 40. And then I started working out a little bit and lifting some weights. And so I lost about 50 to 60 pounds. And that was awesome. And I was super proud of myself. But I suddenly stopped losing weight. And I hadn't changed my eating and I was still working out. But the weight just wasn't coming off. And I had a lot of other things happening at the same time too. My mood was just wildly up and down, unpredictable. My skin was changing. My menstrual cycle was getting wonky. And so I went back to that same doctor who told me that I was probably in perimenopause. Yay. And so I know that a lot of you can relate to that and menopause as well. So I told him about the weight loss and he was happy for me. But he understood what I said immediately when I said that the weight had stopped coming off. And he knew that it was hormonal and not just something that was going to be fixed by diet and exercise. And so he prescribed me a popular weight loss drug. And I took that prescription to my pharmacy, turned it in, and I thought my doctor prescribed it, so my insurance will surely pay for it. But I got a call from the pharmacy saying that my insurance had denied it, but I could try to call them and find out why. So I called into the insurance company, and they said that looking at the doctor's notes, they didn't think that I was unhealthy enough. And so they had denied the claim. And that if I had a diabetes diagnosis or some other life-altering, I guess, diagnosis, that they could possibly approve the prescription. So again, I was pretty sad and pretty distraught. And it was at that time that I thought, I'm just going to call in and see how much it costs. I mean, maybe it'll be a couple $100. How much could it really be? And I was quoted $5,000 for a 90-day supply. And I remember getting off the phone just thinking, this is it. This is the healthiest I'll be. This is the smallest I'll be. Even though I did desire to still lose quite a bit more weight, I felt like I was about 100 pounds overweight when I started all of this. And so I kind of just resigned myself to, this is the best it's going to get. And then had a couple conversations with my husband, and we just started talking and dreaming the way that people do when they're married. And he just said, well, why don't you start your own weight loss clinic, and then you could use the product. And I thought, this man is crazy. But here we are. About 7 months later from that time, our clinic's been open for a little over a month, and I am a client of my product, and I feel great. I am losing weight again. I'm not intermittent fasting. That's probably not wise to do on GLP-1s, although you should always ask your doctor for your own self. But for me, that wasn't working. And so I started taking the shots, and I think I've had 6 now, and I feel great. I've not experienced a lot of the side effects that I guess have been more common with other people. I watch what I eat. I'm not snacking anymore. The food noise, that food addiction that I am so certain that I suffered with, just feels maybe not gone, but for sure pushed to the side. And I don't think about food all the time. Before, when I would be eating, I would be thinking about the next time I was going to eat. And I know a lot of people can't relate to that, but I bet there's somebody out there who can. And I feel happier. I feel more energetic for sure. My stamina is up again. And you guys, I am sleeping so much better. My sleep is deep and good and restful. And I am tired at the end of the day. I'm ready for bed. I'm not laying there scrolling on my phone for hours, trying desperately to fall asleep and then waking up at 3 or 4 in the morning, which perimenopause, shout out, right? So yeah, that's just a little bit of my story, and I hope you feel encouraged. I hope you feel empowered that you can take your health into your own hands. And I think women, as women, we know that you have to advocate for yourself, particularly in medical offices. And I just want you to know that here at Ethos Wellness Clinic, we are listening, and we are here to help and provide encouragement and hope. And so I hope that you will show up to our phone call with plenty of questions and excitement about getting started on your own journey to health. And I look forward to meeting you and learning all about you.